Welcome to the Academy of Esports podcast. I'm your host, James O'Hagan. I am so excited for this episode. This was one of the best weekends I ever had. This was something that, I wish I could have had everybody there. I wish I could be showing you my excitement, and I made sure that my children were part of this. Brought them down to Schaumburg. We all got to be part of this experience. It was really fantastic, and I'm trying to contain, I guess is the best word, all of my enthusiasm right now for what I'm feeling, because that in and of itself, just having my children at this event was truly something that was meaningful to me, was powerful, and is going to have lasting memories. But let me back up even a few more weeks. I was having a conversation with my son, who's 11 years old. It was the start of the school year. And I asked him a very simple question. I said, "Are you excited about going back to school this year?" And he said that no, he wasn't. He wasn't excited about going to school. He's 11 years old, going into 6th grade. This is his first middle school experience. And so I asked him just a kind of a simple question. I asked, "Sean, if you were to have a Minecraft club at your school, would that make a difference?" And the answer was interesting. The answer was yes, it would make my interest in school go up. I would be even more interested if I participated in the Minecraft club. And I found that to be a very interesting statement in and of itself, because I, of course, assumed that if there was going to be a Minecraft club, he would be part of it. And so I delved a little bit further, and I asked Sean, "Hey, what do you mean by if you were a part of it? Wouldn't you be a part of it?" He goes, "Well, I would hope to be a part of it, but even if I wasn't able to play the game, I would at least know that I could watch my friends play and learn from them and learn how they play." And that to me was a very powerful statement. That was students teaching students. That was intrinsic motivation. That was self-determination right there when we talk about relatedness, finding a group that can teach you in a related sort of way. And so I've been thinking about that off and on for the last several weeks. It seems to be an interesting study, if you will. Does having an esports team, does having a Minecraft club, does having a gaming club or a computer club in and of itself raise students' want by tapping into their intrinsic motivations simply to attend school, just knowing that their school has it? That's something that could be studied later on. That's something I find that would be a really interesting dissertation study, I think, in some regards. But let's fast forward to this weekend now. So we're back up to where we were on Friday. Took us a couple of hours to get down to the Schaumburg area, checked in, everything was great. And then 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, it was time to go. Now, again, I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no idea. I've been to, let's just preface this, I've been to things like comic book conventions, and comic book conventions are not what this is. And I've been to so many education technology conferences over the last several years that I kind of, I guess, have gotten used to what a conference should be, at least from the education sense. I mean, you've got booths, you got breakout sessions, you got teachers who are networking with each other. But I haven't really seen what a Minecraft convention would be like, a Minecraft fair, a Minefaire, if you will, which is what this was called, actually, Minefaire. So first off, when we walked into the convention hall, it was stunning. I could not believe what I saw as far as not just stuff to sell. I mean, yes, Minecraft, official Minecraft store was right there where you could buy all the official Minecraft gear you could possibly get your hands on. But also, there were other booths set up. There were large learning areas, if you will, classrooms set up where students could formally and informally come in and learn about different things that they can do in Minecraft. In fact, Mr. Steve Isaacs actually taught in one area, and even Stephen Reed, who's from Scotland, was also there, and he was teaching as well from the Phygital Lab, if you will. And there was even a virtual reality setup. There was an escape room. It's the first time I've ever seen an escape room outside of a traditional escape room that you would find in a strip mall or an office complex, and one that had its purpose right, where it was not about so much the game of playing in the escape room, but it was tied around, again, to Minecraft-related lore and ideas. But, and yes, of course, there were YouTubers there, and there were content creators, and there was even a battle Minecraft setup, which I found to be very fascinating indeed. In fact, I might be doing a follow-up podcast with the young men who have kind of started to figure out, can we turn Minecraft into a constructive esports event? So, with all of that said, what really was probably the most impactful part of the whole weekend was seeing not just my own children being part of this event and really just enjoying it from beginning to end. In fact, this morning, it's a Sunday evening that I was recording this, and I woke up this morning to go down to the convention hall, and I figured I would let my children sleep in a bit. The girls, of course, are teenagers, so they're fast asleep. And my son was also asleep when I walked out the door of the hotel room, and I went downstairs into the lobby, and I went to get a coffee. And the next thing I realized, standing next to me, is my son, and he's dressed in his red Minecraft shirt, says agent on the back, because we were official guests and workers at the convention this weekend. And he looked at me and goes, "Hey, Dad, ready for today?" And it kind of shocked me just how at one second he was asleep and the next second he's wide awake and he's ready to engage into this space. And so we walked our way down and we got our areas set up for the inspiration stage. And again, the inspiration stage, I'll speak about that in a little bit. But what I was most inspired by, I guess, was seeing the children who walked in there. And these were children from ages 3 and 4 years old, all the way up to teenagers, adults even coming into this convention, excited about the idea of participating in something Minecraft. And what I saw was classic self-determination theory again. I saw kids who were feeling autonomous in this space. They were feeling a sense of relatedness. Everybody around them spoke and understood what Minecraft is. Maybe at different levels of complexity, but there were still children in this space who understood exactly what this was, and they felt competent. They felt like they could do anything in this space. Even if they weren't the best at doing it, they could still feel competent and learn from other people. There was a growth mindset going on at the Maker Faire this weekend. And so I saw parents too who seemed to really be enjoying themselves with their children learning about this. Now, of course, not every child was, I think, there for the same reasons, and not every adult was there for the same reasons, but I would say the vast majority, by and large, had a high intrinsic motivation to want to be there, and they were really engaging into this in mostly high-level ways. Now, what I also took away from this was something that isn't typically done in the classroom. And this, again, is my interactions, especially around the inspiration stage, because I am not the content expert of Minecraft. I would love to maybe incorporate it into teaching and learning for students, but again, I'm not going to be the content expert. And I made that very clear to some of the children that I came into contact with, those who I talked to while I was working through the inspiration stage. In fact, there was a moment where we were playing a game, and I was leading the game up on stage, and it was called What's Behind the Chair? And I would call up two children. I'd have one sit in the chair with the screen, with their back to the screen, and I'd have another child stand on the floor and try to just play basically like the $10,000 pyramid or charades, where you try to help the person guess what the scene is behind them, and then they get a little prize if they get it right. And usually I try to keep it pretty simple. I did it with just some Minecraft creatures. So they, for example, if it was a creeper, they had to say, oh, it's green and it explodes. And if you get too close to it, and so on and so forth, and give the kids a little button as a reward. But what the best part of that wasn't the playing of the game. It was before the game. And I was being the host of this game. So I wanted to get to know some of these kids a little bit and ask them informally what their favorite part of the convention was. First off, most of the children that I talked to were 7 years old. It seemed to be, in fact, that became the running joke of the whole game, was that almost every child was 7. And of course, this reminded me why I love fifth graders so much, 10-year-olds, because their humor is so great. There was a 10-year-old who, it was almost like an Abbott and Costello routine. He got up on stage and I said, "How old are you?" And he goes, "I'm 7. "No, I'm 10. And I figured, all right, there you go. That's a fifth grader for you. Love those fifth graders. But anyway, what was great about the questions that I started to ask these kids, it was, what was the thing that you liked the most today? And what almost every one of those kids said was they loved to play Minecraft. They just loved to play the game. And they didn't care how they were consuming it. They were just loving every moment of being there. And I guess that's what I also noticed in the inspiration stage area, because it wasn't your typical, I guess you could say, convention presentations that you would have for kids. Stephen Reed did an excellent presentation about how you teach with Minecraft in schools. And what's great about that is Stephen's audience was adults, but it was also kids, I'm guessing 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And they were sitting there raptured listening to Stephen talk about how he uses Minecraft to teach about the human body, and how he teaches social issues and taxation and deforestation, and how he uses it in those ways to connect with kids through a game where they're intrinsically motivated to be part of it. And it's the medium that they understand. They get this more than they would through a discussion. They're understanding these social issues more than if they read it in a book. They're actually experiencing this in a simulation like they've never had before in a classroom, through a game that they love to play. So that was great to see. And it was great to meet Stephen too. If you're not following him on Twitter, I believe his, let me just double check right here. I want to make sure I get his Twitter handle correct. I believe it's Immersive Mind, but I want to make sure that I've got it right. Yes, Immersive Mind. IMMERSIVEMIND. I'll add that to the show notes. But Immersive Mind on Twitter. Fantastic, fascinating. He lives and works in Edinburgh, Scotland, though it seems to be he's traveling around the world all the time. But he came all the way out from Scotland for this event to share these ideas with children and adults. And it really was a powerful talk for the 30 minutes that he had. And I could tell, too, even though Phygital Lab was there, and that's the company with which that he's working, you could tell that he could have gone on for hours and hours. And let me tell you something else. My 11-year-old son, who is not interested in middle school right now at this moment, all of a sudden became so much more interested in how he could use Minecraft to express his own ideas. The concept that we're talking about when we give kids multiple means of expression to show knowledge is called universal design for learning. So UDL. UDL started as a way to help those with special needs, children with special needs, to express their knowledge beyond just, say, the 5-paragraph essay. Not every child can write a 5-paragraph essay. Not every child can give a speech, for example. But that doesn't mean that they don't understand what's going on. That doesn't mean that they don't understand how to do those things. And what Sean saw in Minecraft and what he got out of Stephen's talk was that, oh my gosh, I can use this powerful tool to self-advocate, because he said, I want to go talk to my teachers about this. And I want to be able to do things using this tool in my classroom. Now, think about that. This is a child who, before this weekend, said, I don't like school. And now he's going into school, hopefully on Monday, with an idea that I can show people just what I know. I can put myself into this and really make a huge impact in my own learning and advocating for myself. There's so many times in schools, especially at elementary and middle school, and in a lot of parts of high school, where school is done to children. We don't give kids enough autonomy to make decisions about their own educational pathways a lot of those times, and for good reason too. There's a lot of kids who just don't know what to do with school. They didn't grow up in a Montessori system where they're expected to self-explore and self-advocate and take control of certain things. Even as I said, we haven't done a good job honoring the importance of play. We haven't given kids enough opportunities to self-direct and self-play and set up their own rules and figure out their own boundaries amongst themselves in a playground setting. So Sean came away with a whole different perspective on school just from this weekend. In fact, in talking to him, as I was dropping him off at his mother's house, he did say to me, "Dad, this was the best weekend I ever had. This was the best weekend. My son, who's 11 years old, this is the best weekend he's ever had." Those were his words. "This is the best weekend I've ever had." That's a powerful statement. That is a huge statement. That is something where he felt changed. He felt different. Now, the inspiration stage had all other things going on. And what I loved seeing too, with the inspiration stage, again, it wasn't just adults who were getting up and sharing their ideas. There were 4 students who came from the Platteville area, Platteville, Wisconsin. 2 girls came down to talk about how you can build a fabulous mansion in Minecraft. Now, again, I do play the game. I enjoy playing the game. I am not, I guess you could say, the most artistic person in the space, but these girls demonstrated to me how I could up my building game. And this takes planning. This takes understanding of structures. This takes careful consideration of materials and crafting and things like that. So those girls did that, but there's these other 2 boys who came later, and these were younger kids. So the girls were, I think, in 8th grade. The boys were in 4th grade. Now, mind you, these are kids we're talking about in 4th grade. So they're 9 years old, roughly 9-10 years old. One of the boys was talking about how you can learn chemistry through Minecraft, and Minecraft EDU does have components where you can actually build there's actually a chemist journal for Minecraft. If you look it up online, there's a chemist journal, and you can actually learn chemistry. And what this child was talking about, now mind you, I was a chemistry major at Purdue University. I loved high school chemistry. I aced high school chemistry. I even took analytical chemistry at San Jose State between my junior and senior year of high school. And I went to Purdue as a chemistry major. Hated it my freshman year, dropped out of the major. But this child was putting together chemical equations that I wasn't sure where they were coming from, because these were high-level chemical equations this child was talking about. And what he had done was he had used Minecraft to learn a lot of the basics of chemistry, just in chemical symbols, compositions, compounds, how you transform things from one to another through experimentation, how you use catalysts and accelerants, things of that nature. This is high-level science. This is a 9-year-old learning these things. This is a powerful tool. And this goes back to the heart of what the Academy of Esports is about. Now, while we're not speaking about competition and esports directly, we're talking about incorporating learning through play. And this child showed a tremendous acumen for chemistry, which was truly amazing. And again, these were peers. These were kids presenting to their peers, children watching children learn and teach about Minecraft, which was amazing. Now, the thing that got me, that I really, truly enjoyed, and I got to experience firsthand in this event, was the battle arena. Now, Minecraft is not your typical game that there is a battle going on, if you will. Minecraft, though, does allow people to develop their own rules in their own environments. I mean, think of Minecraft. If you haven't played it or you're not really sure what it is, there's a mode called creative mode where you can do pretty much anything that you want. And think of it as Neo in The Matrix. So if you've seen the movie The Matrix, you know that Neo, at one point in the end of the first movie and the second movie, third movie, actually develops the abilities to control everything in the environment. And that's what happens in Minecraft world. You can use a creative mode to create things out of thin air through command line and produce however much that you want. And what some young gentlemen did from the St. Louis, well, actually, they were kind of all over the place. One was from St. Louis, one was from Arizona State, one's from San Diego, one's from San Francisco. I mean, they're all over the place. But what these young men did is they actually have created an environment where they have created a Minecraft version of an esport. And the game is called Capture the Wool. Capture the Wool, kind of like Capture the Flag. So if you've played Capture the Flag, you have a base, you must defend it. You have to keep kids from getting your flag, and if they get your flag and return it to the base, then they win. Same thing here with Minecraft. So they've set up this environment where there's different levels or maps, if you will, and you and your team have to defend against the others who are coming to try and steal your wool. And this, again, got us back to the idea of play being important, but this also was attracting kids to play this game who, again, were 4 and 5 years old, playing against kids who were in their teen years. In fact, yesterday I played in the VIP match at 4 o'clock. Me and Mr. Isaacs both played in it. And against a bunch of kids. Of course, they wiped us out. But it was fun for us to play. But again, it's giving kids that opportunity to participate in something that they find that they really love. And what I'm seeing over and over again in the Minecraft world is they're taking this piece of technology, which on its surface just seems like a silly kind of Sim City, if you will, but from a first-person perspective, from the builder's perspective. And what's really starting to happen now is authentic learning, and it's coming at a constructionist way. So in constructionism, it isn't just about the creation of knowledge in the head, but being able to demonstrate it and show it. Seymour Papert is the father of constructionism. He's a student of Jean Piaget. Piaget was a constructivist. So again, constructivists believe that children are able to make and create knowledge in their heads. And Seymour said, well, now that we have a computer, we can actually have kids show us what they mean. And what's happening now through Minecraft, because it is an open world, because there is a creative way to use it, and because people have invested tens of years, 10 years at least, this software is now 10 years old, into this technology, because it was not so corporately owned and controlled for a long time, it has become a playground that coding is built into it, where creation is built in it, where kids can set their own rules and set their own expectations for what the space is. They own their space, and they can share their space with other people. They can invite other people into their space. It is such a powerful tool. And again, it goes to the heart of what the Academy of Esports is really all about. Again, we want to redefine athletic culture. When I looked across that room today, what did I see? I saw kids all ages who are coming together in a common cause to play a game and participate in a game that they love to do. We redefine athletic culture. We diversify opportunity for student participation. Students are participating not just because they want to go win the game by slaying the Ender Dragon at the end of it. There were kids who were fascinated with building, fascinated with chemistry, fascinated with gameplay, fascinated with coding. Saw all those things in this space. We want to, number 3, promote good mental and physical health. So again, kids were not just in this space and sitting in it, but they're interacting with each other. They're not stuck in their basements. They're not necessarily exercising. I'm not going to say that they were out there exercising, but what they had was positive adult interactions, because some of the kids are doing this in their school or with their parents. So they're having a positive adult interaction, which again, as we know, positive adult interactions is one of the two ways you push against an adverse childhood experience. And the other one is through play. So we're helping with mental health here. The collegiate and career pathways, again, if these kids are thinking in the ways of programming and thinking of design and thinking of engineering and thinking of science all through this game, then we've got such a tremendous tool going on here. We have such tremendous opportunity because of the intrinsic motivations that are built into Minecraft for a lot of these kids. So we have the collegiate and career pathways. And finally, of course, the last one we have is honoring the importance of play. And again, at the heart of everything I saw today, it was about the play. It was about kids having fun and kids enjoying learning and kids enjoying interacting with each other, and showing that off in constructionist ways and in ways that show off self-determination theory and joy and passion around something that they just absolutely love and gravitate towards.
That will do it for this week on the Academy of Esports. I've been your host, James O'Hagan. Esports are organized competitive video games allowing schools to redefine their athletic culture, diversify opportunities for student participation, promote good physical and mental health, increase collegiate scholarship pathways, and play games. We can never forget the importance of play. The mission of the Academy of Esports is to support these ideals. The vision of the Academy of Esports is for all students to experience the fun and joy of playing competitive video games. You may follow me on Twitter at Jim O'Hagan. That's at JIMOHAGAN, and through the Academy of Esports account at TAO Esports. It's a great way to get the latest blog posts, podcast episodes, and news coming out of esports and education. And remember, you can continue your engagement by going to www.taoesports.com. You can also connect through Facebook at www.facebook.com/TAO Esports. Thanks again for listening, and I look forward to our time again next week.